Hey YouTube, Jim here. Welcome to Top 10 Archive. If you're a travel junkie and love creepy stories, grab your favorite beverage and get ready as we travel to the most infamous cities known for their strange hauntings and superstitious culture. Here are the top 10 most haunted cities in the world. Number 10. Tokyo, Japan. There's a reason why Japanese horror films are some of the most frightening in the genre. Tokyo, Japan's bustling capital, holds within its metropolis all the legends that brought stories like The Ring to light. So what actually happens there? Well, let's look at some reports. At the Akasaka Mansion in Tokyo, a woman once reported an invisible force dragged her across the room by her hair. Visitors to the Doryodo ruins in Odokayama Park heard screams shortly after two murder victims' bodies were found there. Authorities dismantled the temple on the site after several reports of paranormal activity. Number 9. Charleston, South Carolina. The South is full of tales and legends, as well as very real historical facts that could give you chills. Charleston, South Carolina is often called the Holy City, but nicknamed the Supernatural City because of its dark history. Its citizens have had to go through several battles, catastrophic fires, hurricanes, earthquakes, and hundreds of years of slavery, making it a breeding ground for pain and suffering. Of the thousands of enslaved Africans that were killed and tortured, many are said to stick around looking for justice. Perhaps its scariest landmark is the Old City Jail, which held pirates, Civil War prisoners, and local criminals, including the first female serial killer in the U.S., Lavina Fisher. Visitors leave the jail not only disturbed, but some even nauseated and ailed with temporary blindness or scratch marks. Number 8. Prague, Czech Republic. Prague is one of Europe's gems. The culture, architecture, and quality of life call to people from all over the world to visit. But be careful if you do, because its many ghosts are known to interact with locals and foreigners alike. One of their most famous ghosts is the Mad Barber, who does not sit in one place, but rather walks the streets at night. After losing his wife, his grief took over, and he slashed at a passerby with his razor. Soldiers beat him to his death, and now he's said to roam the city. There's also the Begging Skeleton, a friendly, Casper-like ghost who is harmless, asking only for some money from drunks. Don't stray too far from your hotel either. Near Hauska Castle, north of the city, Nazi officers are rumored to have run horrible experiments on humans on grounds where you'll now find a building which is said to contain demons inside. Number 7. Colemanskope, Namibia. Surely you didn't expect Namibia to come and bring the spook, but here we are. This town in Namibia used to be a German mining town for diamond hunters. It was moderately developed, with its own ballroom, skittle alley, casino, and tram. But when the diamonds dried up, so did the money. Residents went looking for the next paycheck, and all that was left was the ghosts of miners that died on the job. What will actually happen if you visit isn't spoken of much, but a TV crew once visited and reported hearing ghosts in their heads. Number 6. Changi Beach, Singapore. Singapore is not a large place, just a big city or country all in one. Its Changi Beach is where about 50,000 Allied World War II prisoners were held and tortured at the old Changi Hospital. The location is actually beautiful, but people claim that the building has never been peaceful since those days, and screams often ring out from its windows and doors. Number 5. Savannah, Georgia. Another southern city in the United States, Savannah has been called the city built upon its dead. It's known for having so many haunted locations, you probably can't even visit them all in one trip. Let's talk about the most chilling. Upon strange occurrences after showing The Exorcist, the Lucas Theater closed in 1976. As it was restored around 2001, strange things started happening again. Tools disappeared, and applause would start despite the theater being empty. I can't imagine any contractor job being worth enduring that bad of a spook. There's also the Colonial Park Cemetery, which opened in 1750. Number 4. Cape Town, South Africa. South Africa, like the American South, has a history of heavy racial segregation, discrimination, and abuse. This could be why, despite trying to move beyond its past, the country struggles to free itself from its ghosts. Literally. Visitors to the Castle of Good Hope are often greeted by the angry ghost of Governor Van Noot, an evil man who died of a heart attack after being cursed by a soldier he'd sentenced to death. The Tokai Manor House has a sad and spooky story. The Eckstein family threw a party in the 1900s, which took a dark turn after a young family member went through with a challenge to ride a horse in the living room. The cheers from the crowd startled the horse, and the pair tumbled down the stairs to their death. The place is now designated as a national monument, but visitors still report seeing a man on horseback, often around New Year's Eve. Number 3. New Orleans, Louisiana. Of course, New Orleans is full of scares. It's a very old city and has seen all kinds of macabre events. But to be haunted in New Orleans is a privilege, with houses holding ghosts going for a higher price than those without. Perhaps the most known ghost is the voodoo queen Marie Laveau, whose remains are found at St. Louis Cemetery. On June 23rd, she wanders the area, though likely not alone, since the cemetery is well known as the most haunted in the world. There's also the story of Madame Delphine Lalaurie, whose story resembles an episode of Lovecraft Country. Her victims were mostly enslaved people who she tortured in a secret attic. They are said to still haunt the mansion, and rightly so. Number 2. Port Arthur, Australia. Down under, the superstitions never fail. Port Arthur in Tasmania hosts ghost tours. Since it was an 18th century convict settlement, as was most of populated Australia at that time, it's full of bad energy and paranormal activity. Apparently, the prison conditions were so bad that many prisoners would seek to escape at any cost, even death, often committing a murder just to escape via death penalty. If you do visit Tasmania, you can go on one of these ghost tours yourself. Number 1. York, UK. We hear all about London, but York is full of its own stories as well. Stories of hauntings come from almost every part of the city, including one from an American visitor who reported her hair being tugged every night after visiting the Golden Fleece pub. A young woman named Mad Alice, executed in 1825 for dangerous insanity, probably homosexuality, roams the city, as does the Grey Lady, a medieval nun who had an affair with a local man and was bricked up in a room inside the Theatre Royal to starve. Legend has it, if you sit in the dress circle, she'll tickle your neck. Hopefully, tickle isn't British slang for choke. Thanks for watching. Very brave of you. But are you brave enough to visit any of these cities with the express purpose of looking for its ghosts? Are there spooky legends in the town where you live? Let us know in the comments. I wonder if there are any paranormal stories in Erie, Pennsylvania. Please be sure to subscribe, click the bell, and give this video a like.